This weapon combination is incredibly strong and will allow you to power level any class to 30, top the damage meters with ease, and ultimately carry your team to glory. It's easy to play, makes even Hell on Earth difficulty a walk in the park, and whether this is your first or third character that you're maxing out, these weapons and leveling strategies in this video will make leveling much faster. Introducing the G33, and this, folks, is your premier choice for Hall Clear duty and will be the primary catalyst for blasting through Hell on Earth difficulty and getting those juicy levels as quick as possible. You honestly could just clear screens for fun with this thing. It's absolutely cracked. I've hit over 2 million damage with this build and it's not even min-maxed, and getting around 1.8 to 1.9 is pretty common. Now, how do I build this? I tend to use incendiary rounds, and that is simply because the amount of AoE that this provides and the pure damage output is absolutely stifling to the enemy. And of course, it applies burn affliction, increased damage, and panic affliction, which can CC as well. This is really nice, and I'll have footage on the screen as we talk showing you how powerful this is. You can also go for freeze grenades. These are very effective. Obviously, a lot of CC, a nice damage bonus, and if you're leveling something like the sharpshooter, which has a great affinity with cold freeze damage, this is also a great way to go. I had a round of myself and another player combining incendiary and freeze grenades. We were absolutely cooking. It's worth a try, folks. We're also using the extended barrel for the 30% increased accuracy, and that plus 100% projectile speed is really helpful because we want those grenades to be hitting the targets as quickly as possible. I'll explain why that's so important in a moment. We've got the red dot sight here, folks, and that's because there isn't any other ones to pick. So we get plus 5 zoom critical damage, which is important. So we want to make sure that we are always ADSing where possible. And this next one is what people are always talking about. What is the best? I go with the 8-round cylinder. Increases the mag capacity a lot, and you want to have 8 grenades in a cylinder, which I will explain why in a moment. And finally, we're using the aluminium alloy receiver, and this just increases the fire rate and improves the handling, which is also very helpful for the style of play. It's very, very spammy. Now, in terms of the passives, the key one here, folks, is Deadly Resupply. And if you take a look here, we've got 3 of these on this grenade launcher. You can roll Deadly Resupply on your ammunition, on your underbarrel, and in your mag, okay? And the way that this works is you have a 33% chance to return 1 round to the magazine on kill shot. Let me explain how this actually functions, because there's a little bit of confusion out there. This is not additive. I used to think it was. I've since been corrected. What this actually means is if you have this 3 times, there are 3 separate opportunities every time you get a kill shot for one of your reserve grenades to be pulled from your reserve into the weapon cylinder. So 3 opportunities means if you get 1 kill shot, you can potentially get 3 grenades put back into the 8-round cylinder. And what that means is if you're one-shotting, which you do a lot, you're just constantly feeding this grenade launcher and spamming enemies down. It's very, very fun. I haven't even min-maxed this properly yet. I'm using critical strikes on the red dot, and I'm probably going to change that, to be honest. What critical strikes does is it gives you a 1.5% chance to deal 150% extra damage. It's okay. It doesn't happen enough for my liking. My recommendation would be just pick a teammate damage buff. That would be my advice. If you're doing this in a group, just buff your damage across the board. The choice is yours. The main thing here, folks, is that you are getting the ammunition back. As I showed you at the start of the video, I've hit over 2 million damage with this setup. It's absolutely crazy, and it's not even min-maxed yet. Next up, the Vulcan, and this is the creme de la creme of getting rid of flesh pounds and scrakes very quickly. 2 shots on full charge. You can take out a flesh pound if you're hitting its weak spots. Very nice. And you'll see here, this one again isn't even min-maxed. I've done that on purpose. I wanted to show you how manageable it is to reach these dizzying heights without having full purple gear. So let's take a look. We go with supercharged plasma for that bigger AoE scale and that plus 50 burn affliction. I've put the increased damage by 35 from first shot with the fully loaded magazine. I don't think it's optimal, but it does the job very nicely, especially your first shot. Second up, we're using the plasma focuser, and again, I haven't made this purple. It gives you plus 16 damage and plus 75% projectile speed. If I was going to max this out, I'd probably just put a team buff perk because I'm using it at the moment in team play to make sure that we are clearing as quickly as possible. Next up, the ultra octane fuel tank. I've got Boss Basher on this one for the 5% increased damage to bosses. This does plus 35% damage. It chunks bosses' health, especially when you're running in smaller groups, not so much in a 6-man. And then finally, we're going for Pneumatic Plasma Cooler, and this gives us a bit more bang for buck with our ammo cost, and it's only on the primary shot anyway. You only want to be using this on secondary fire, really, because the grenade launcher deals with all the smallies very effectively, and you just want to be charging this up as full as possible every time and hitting those weak spots on Skrakes and Flesh Pounds to get the best effects. You can also just spam it, but that's up to you. Bang for buck, charge it up. If you're in a panic, rapid fire, it's absolutely great. But how do you get to these weapons? The grenade launcher's 5.3k and the Vulcan is around 6.4. Very good question. So the way you want to approach this is to expect that it's probably going to take you 2 rounds to get to this. You can get the grenade launcher after 1 round if you have a very good first round. But the way that I've approached this is I take what I consider to be the best base weapon that you can possibly put together for the class. In this case, when I leveled my sharpshooter from 1 to 30 with this loadout, I started with the Artemis Marksman Rifle, and all I did was I made sure that the operation cost would cover the best version of this weapon. So 2,840 is actually cheaper than my operation cost at the upper levels. And I just put 3 deadly resupply passives on this, so it was getting a lot of bullet return. It lent into the marksmanship of the sharpshooter and the power of this weapon, and just cleaned up house, basically using it, and pushed as much as I could with my kills to get as much dosh as possible. As I said, you can get the grenade launcher after the first wave if you play really well, or if not, you will definitely be able to get it the wave after. If you're playing with friends, you can always just say to people, hey guys, lend me an extra 400 dosh and I can get the grenade launcher. It is worth your team's investment, so someone has this straight away, because you just blow through the rounds incredibly quickly. And then you just apply the same premise. You want to be pushing really hard once you've got the grenade launcher to get enough dosh saved up to get the Vulcan. And once you have the Vulcan, usually by round 4, you're just able to handle Flesh Pounds, Skrakes, bigger groups. Nothing feels scary. And if your team are leaning into CC and you're leaning into CC and you're peppering them with this thing, it's just so strong. But what about the methods to max out your XP? Well, for me personally, I took the sharpshooter from 1 to 30 using a combination. I did some solo playthroughs on Hell on Earth, and I also did some 6-mans and group play on R&D. I'll talk about R&D first. You can do this in public lobbies. I've found that public lobbies now are actually pretty competent, and everybody has started to learn the ropes for this game. There is an area that I will put up on the screen now that you're probably already familiar with. It's the little tunnel in the atrium area. Just hide in the front entrance of there and just spam till your heart's content with the grenade launcher. Be sure to not go too far back, because what that actually does is it proc spawns to the left, and you don't want that. The only thing you need to consider is the vents, which the Zeds sometimes pop out of occasionally, but primarily going to be focusing in one direction and just absolutely obliterating everything that's in front of you. Once you have got the Vulcan, make sure that you're prioritizing taking out Flesh Pounds and Skrakes before they even get to you, and just kind of switch it up as you go. When you see that the Horde's getting a little bit too plentiful, switch to your grenade launcher, spam them down. When you see there's Flesh Pounds and Skrakes, pull your Vulcan out, take a shot. Encourage your friends to get this loadout as well. The more people that have this, the easier your time is going to be leveling. I will say, folks, it is a little bit boring. This is definitely for those of us that just want to be efficient and get as many levels as possible, as quickly as possible. But this works. I cannot stress that enough. On a good run, you are getting around 4,500 XP, and the amount of materials you get doing this as well is crazy. I think the most biosteel I've acquired is like 47 in a run, which is absolutely crazy. It's really quick to accrue this really valuable resource. Second up, you can go on the convoy map and you can use the tunnel. I was doing this initially before I decided to switch it up to R&D. And this does work. It's very nice in terms of playing solo as well, because what you can do on Convoy is you can create this really nice loop. You're essentially running in a circle using the tunnel as kind of a little bit of respite, and there's also a doorway on the loop that you can sit by and pepper them with your ultimates and all your Vulcan shots, and this works really effectively as well. Check out this next video. It's got you covered. Take care of yourselves. Keep having fun. Come check out a stream on YouTube or Twitch, and I'll see you in the next one.